Hey everyone, welcome to a new section of the course. In this section, we're going to talk about the types of layers on After Effects. As you have seen, the layers on After Effects are not so different from the ones on Photoshop or Illustrator. They work practically the same, they have the same principles. Anything that goes right here will become a layer. Everything that goes on the composition will become a layer. And here on After Effects, we have many kinds of layers. For example, if we go to layer, you can see that we have a lot of things here, and we have the new, and we have a lot of kinds of layers. We have the text layer, solid layer that we have used, a light layer, camera, null object, shape layer, and adjustment layers. On this section, we're going to talk about the text, about solids, the shape, and the adjustments. These ones will be talked about in another section because they have to do with 3D, so we are going to use them later. Now, first we're going to talk about the text layers. They are pretty simple to use and they can be animated, and we can create great things with them, as we're going to see here on this lesson and the next lesson also. So to create a text layer, you can either go to new and create a text layer, and this will open a new text layer that will be empty. Of course, we haven't write anything. Let's write, I don't know, After Effects. You can write it like that, or you can, let's delete this, you can just click on this horizontal type tool and click on our composition, and that will create also an empty layer. So you have two ways of creating. You have this one, which is the horizontal type tool, and if you open this, you can see the vertical type tool, which is of course going to work on a vertical mode. Let's keep this horizontal, and if you want to increase the size, you can go to this point, and with shift selected you can increase the size, or you could also go to this panel, the character panel. If you don't have this panel, just go to window and open the character window, and we have now this panel. We can increase the size like this. So you can see that this panel has a lot of things. If you have worked with Photoshop or Illustrator, you will know what these are, but let's take a look at it. For example, here you have the font. Right now I'm using this neutral display, but if you click on the drop down menu, you have the font that you can use. You can click here on the menu, and with the down key on your keyboard you can take a look at all the fonts that you have. Alright, here you have the type of the font. You want it thin, you want it title, medium. That depends on the font that you want. Here you have the color, the background, and the stroke color. You can change this by clicking on this square and changing the color to whatever color you want. And you can also add some stroke. Maybe I want a red stroke. Also, you can click on the eyedropper and you can take any color for it to change. Let's change the fill color to, I don't know, I want this red, and I can grab this red, or I want this blue. You can take any color that is on your screen, of course on the screen of After Effects. So let's keep it on this color. This is nice. Alright, here you have the text size. It's really easy to use. You can either click here and select a size, or you could click here on this part and type any font size that you want, or you can just click and hold here and drag it to the left or to the right to increase or decrease the size of the font. Now, of course, we can type it on 2 lines, and we can change the lid by increasing or decreasing. Also, you can change the kerning, and you can change also the height of the font or the width, anything that you want. Let's keep it normal right now, 100 and 100. And of course, this layer can be dragged to whatever part that you want. And of course, this layer, these text layers can be animated. We're going to talk about the animation of the text on a different lesson, because it has a different way to animate if you want to animate letter by letter. But if you just want to animate the layer per se, you just go with the same direction that we always do. Open the transform, and for example, press the P on your keyboard and click on a keyframe and change the position to create a new keyframe. This is just like we have animated everything else, but the text layers have a different way to animate with this button right here, but we were going to talk about that on another lesson. Now we have the transform properties, and we also have the text properties, which later will have the animation part. But right now you can take a look, and it has three things. It has the source text and the path options and the more options. Here you can change things like, for example, where the anchor point will be and other things. The path options is really nice because you can create a path. Let's grab our pen tool, and with the layer selected, I'm going to create a path like this, and now I have a path. This will become a mask, but it's not working as a mask per se because it's just one path. Now on the path options on the layer, if we drop down the menu, you can see that it opens a path property, and right now it's on none. But if we select our mask one, which is this path that I created, if I select the mask one, now the text will be aligned to that path. So this is really cool to create some effects with it. If we want the text to have a nice effect, a nice distortion or something, it can be really cool. And we can change things, for example, reversing the path. If we want the text to follow the path, the path curve, or if we want it to be like this, and if we want to force the alignment to the entirety of the path. So it's a really cool thing to have this option. I'm going to delete this mask. Now we also have a nice thing here, which is called the source text. For example, you can see that it has a stopwatch, which means that it can be animated. So let's go to the beginning of the animation and click here, and I'm going to the first second, and I'm going to create a keyframe. On this keyframe, I'm going to change the text to, I don't know, maybe text layers, and now when we hit play, it changes the text. So this is really nice because you can change the text without actually having to type another text or having to have a lot of text layers. For example, if you are doing an animation that has a lot of text, a lot of titles, then maybe you won't need to create so many layers, because it could be very annoying to have all these layers and they get hard to find. So you can have a lot of text on one single layer. So that's really nice. So let's go to another lesson to teach you about the animation of the text layers.